Seriously, guys, it's something to do with Thursday nights and just really strange outcomes. I know that one a bunch of weeks ago, the Rabbits Stew, with at halftime 32 blot to Dragons up against the Rabbits, obviously, and here it was 20-0 at halftime, I believe. I was playing basketball, I missed that first bit, but 28-6, we have the result for the Sharks, and then some incredible performances from a few of these guys, and the Storm just struggling at the moment, really, really struggling, and it'd be interesting to see if they put it all together. Obviously, when they get their full squad back, they were missing Munster, Harry Grant, obviously, Felice Kafusi, and then had a couple of injuries, Kenny Bromwich, these types of ones, obviously throughout the game. But the Sharks at home got the job done without Nicho Hynes, and it was really, really spectacular effort. Ramian with 3 tries, which probably should have had the 4, but didn't end up that way. Brayley with a 66, so got that try. So if you picked him up, you're really happy with the output from him over the last few weeks, especially. He's just been that up and down player this year. He's got up, well into the 700s and then back down a bit, but overall averaging 49. So you're pretty happy with that. Brandon Smith, we spoke about. If you had a bunch of extra trades in hand, you're sitting with 9 or 10 to start the week, then Smithy could be a nice one to plug and play for a bunch of weeks, maybe make a little bit of cash and go from there. Him obviously playing at 9 is where he's best served, and got sin bin and still picked up the 61 and missed out on that 10 minutes at the end. So really, really good score from him. The 36 tackles, the 118 metres, a couple of turnovers. He was great with that try assist as well. So if you picked him up and played him, you're really happy with that effort. Trindal, someone we didn't get to speak about too much. With doing the cash outs video, pretty much, we knew Hynes was going to be playing and Trindal wouldn't be, and he's obviously been scoring poorly off the bench. I personally made a mistake that I didn't actually think he was 220k. I thought he was a fair bit higher than that, and just getting him for 1 week wasn't going to be ideal. But the 220k, it kind of came to my attention on Thursday there as him being a potential cash out as well, and the main reason why I tried to thought about steering clear from him was that he was going to be up against a Storm team that we thought, I thought, and I know a lot of people thought we're going to win this game comfortable enough. So egg on our face there that Brent Trindal came out and got a couple of try assists and 380 kick meters, ran the ball a bit, so he did well with a couple of goals also. So Trindal was great. If you picked him up, you get him for the 1 week, he'll probably end up either on the bench or not playing at all. So that's the Trindal story. Well done if you picked him up, and sorry if I didn't bring him to your attention. A few people spoke about him to me on Thursday, and I agreed that he was a good option there. So sorry for that. There. McInnes, 53 in the 57 minutes. So we're very happy with the minutes now that we got that back up, and his output was terrific. 51 in base there. Picked up a couple extra points overnight, which is lovely. Sitting at 47, I believe. And I think we can keep him there, hold him as a keeper. If he's priced at the 50 mark, he'll be around that again after this week. I just think you just hold on to him. He might not be like a screaming buy unless he gets happens to get a 65 to an 80-minute roll, but until then, you just hold steady. He now plays the rest of the year and is always someone that's fairly consistent around that 50 mark with these minutes. So we got Jerome Hughes there with 50. So you'll take it if you own him. He's obviously priced very low at 598. So anything above 45 to 50 is a great score, and he's going to make cash on a week-to-week basis. But the 402 kick meters is nice there with the 82 run meters, but didn't have a great game himself. And that's the annoying part, and obviously part of the reason why the Storm didn't win this match. If Hughesy is at his best, they're very, very, very difficult to beat. So that was Hughesy there. We spoke about Chris Lewis as a great cash out option, and he delivered nicely there with a 45 in the 74 minutes there. So 40 tackles, which is kind of what we spoke about. If you're playing 80 minutes on an edge, like I said, exactly, it's very difficult to miss out on 30 to 40 tackles, and he got to that 40 mark, ran the ball a little bit, only the 4 misses with a little bit of attacking stats. He got the job done at 265k. He was just a little bit more expensive than like Hosking and stuff. So, you pay that extra 45k premium and you get a good score. So well done to anyone who went for that. Finucane there with 44, so he did his job. Not really someone we want to talk about or look at. Moylan, really happy to see him playing some regular footy. Roommate was just came in. He's like, Moylan's playing so good. I was like, why? Because he played a full year. He hasn't been injured in a good while now, and we always know how incredibly talented he is. We saw him at Panthers, and he was a freak, and then he comes to the Sharks, has a lot of injuries, never really gets to show his full potential there. So great to see him get a couple of tries. He's run the ball, kick, and tackled well too. 22 for 2 misses. Alec McDonald, 43. In his time in the park, he got a nice try there. He made a little bit across the year, right? It was 220 at the start. And that's that. Nelson got the 41, which was okay. Ronaldo Mulatalo got the 1 try. Just run meters really down, 103, which is strange. And if you add that up, obviously 180, 200, probably gets a couple more attacking stats and gets around that 50 mark. But for Ronaldo at 553, you take the 40. That's for sure. Meany, has actually made a fair bit of cash this year, which is good. Connor Tracy doing his job in there. Will Kennedy, for those that have picked him up, he got another 36. So a couple of good scores in a row now, 3, I believe. So yeah, if you picked up Kennedy, this is the only thing you're worried about in this game was that he had a real shocker and didn't do anything. We did not have one negative in the whole game. So awesome for Kennedy. You take the 36 and run with it. And then I suppose from here on in, he's just someone who can cover if there's any injury to your outside backs there. So that's good. Kamika with 35, Seve 34, Brommy, King. All right, so now you got the 31 out of King. It's okay. Gonna get the 60 minutes though, so I think it's time to move him on now. From this following week, he won't be making any cash for you, so he's definitely a guy you can get that 250k from downgrading him, or you can upgrade him on the back end. Pappenhausen, all right, 28. Looks like he has a bit of a finger issue, which we'll see. Obviously played on the full 80, but we'll see how he ends up and if he's going to be missing any time. But this was obviously a risk. Didn't think it would happen just for the fact that the Storm were, tipped to win this game, and he's going to be a guy that benefits from then scoring. If it's 28-0 for the majority of the game, they score right at the end, throw it forward, then obviously Pap's not going to do anything, unfortunately. So just the 91 meters was really low. A couple of offloads, did have the line break in there, but yeah, the 91 meters, you need him up over 150 and then getting some attacking stats, and unfortunately that did not happen. Fafita with a nice start to the game, obviously a couple of one offload there in the end. And a bunch of tackle breaks to get sin binned as well, which kind of killed his output and his minutes, unfortunately, for those that played him this week and have held him for the entirety of the year. Bromwich was 17, he's 50, he's getting real low. Wishart, for those that have him, end up coming on early enough in the game and just got the 43 minutes, so 16 points for him. Not ideal with 52 run meters, just the 9 tackles is that. Wade Graham, a low score as well after he had a pretty solid outing, which was... last week, for example, he had a really nice PPM, but the 5 missed tackles, 33 run meters, no kicking was not so great, unfortunately. And then you've got Jeremy Grant, an option there that we spoke about very briefly because it's a bench forward, and the majority of the bench forwards aren't going to get those types of minutes, unfortunately. So that's where his one ended up. And then Grant Anderson obviously got injured after 37 minutes. We spoke about him, but 271k was a little bit too expensive. If you held him though, you bought him right at the start. You held him here, you got the 9 and pretty tough there. So that's that Thursday wrap up. We obviously got to have one of these each day. Might be a little bit late the Sunday one. Potentially be at night time, but we'll work that out because I'm away for the weekend. Hope you all have a cracker weekend, guys. It's obviously Friday afternoon now. Get out there, enjoy it. We've finally got a bit of sun in Sydney, so if you're looking at the forecast or you're looking at the games over the next couple of days, then the weather is going to be a lot better in Newcastle as well for that game. Obviously the Tigers v Eels, I think, will that be in Parramatta? Potentially. But yeah, obviously a lot better weather for those two games. So just keep that in mind, and then up in Suncorp for the Broncos game. That's that one, guys. Like, subscribe, get around it. Love yous all. Bye-bye.